Hello, welcome, greetings, and gladsome tidings to you and yours on this night where atmospheric rivers are brewing and starting to descend on the Bay Area. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Jesuit Retreat Center in Los Altos, where we believe retreats change lives. And that's why we're here tonight, to gather and support that. I am Paul Venables. I am a member of the board of directors here, and I have been shanghaied to be your MC tonight, so you are stuck with me, people, for the evening. If people are in the waiting room, which I don't know if you would be able to hear me if you are, but if you are in the waiting room, I've been told we need your name. So you can't just enter anonymously and randomly, but we need names of folks that might be waiting for us to begin. Starting tonight and going all the way through Giving Tuesday, which, as you know, is November 28th this year, we will be sharing stories and reflections from JRC retreatants. And those will be shared out on social media right up into Giving Tuesday. And for the past 4 years, you all have been so amazing and generous and supportive of our Giving Tuesday campaigns. And we are asking you to help us out once again, please. This year, we have a goal. $25,000 is our goal. So that is a big ask, we realize, but we are hoping that we can join together and hit that target this evening. We are raising money this year to help folks who are on their way to recovery. So the funds will actually go towards people attending recovery retreats here at the Jesuit Retreat Center. These are folks that are on their way back to life, on their way back to their families, on their way back to themselves, and on their way back to God. And so we want to open our doors and welcome them here and help them recover on that road by attending a retreat here at the Jesuit Retreat Center. Today, we begin our journey launching our 5th annual Retreats Change Lives campaign, a Giving Tuesday fundraising campaign. It should be some fun. We're going to hear from our extraordinary director, executive director at the Jesuit Retreat Center, Father Chi No, and from an incredible man, Father Tom Weston, who has dedicated the better part of his life to recovery work. So we're going to hear from Father Tom as well. But first, before we do that, let's take a look at our Giving Tuesday page, and I will see what we have cooking there. Well, you already have some donors, Diane and Buddy and Angela and Rosemary. Thank you for your generous support. We encourage everyone else to join them and add to that list, and hopefully that list will grow as we proceed through the evening. No amount is too small and no amount is too big. I don't think we've ever identified what too big might be. It doesn't exist. But I'll tell you what is big is that we have been alerted right before this program began of a very generous donation, an anonymous donation, a matching donation of $10,000. If we hit our goal of $25,000, we then get the matching $10,000 on top of that. What a generous gesture. We are so appreciative. So folks, we have big game in our sights tonight, and we hope to hit the 25 to unlock the 10. That would be fantastic. If everyone here tonight made a donation, I'm sure we would meet our goal and be on our way and unlock that money. So again, thank you all for your generous support. Now we're going to welcome Father Chi, our executive director, who will say a few words. Over to you, Father Chi.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. It is wonderful that we are gathered tonight to kick off this Retreat Change Lives event, Giving Tuesday. So I want to begin with a prayer and then do some thanks words of about the retreat center. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "For each new morning with its light, for rest and shelter of the night, for health and food, for love and friends, for everything thy goodness sends." So, dear Lord, we gather tonight in your name, and we are grateful. Grateful for the beauty and grandeur of your creation. Grateful for the changing of season as the earth renews itself in the coming winter months. We're grateful for those who have gone before us, our loved ones, during this month of remembrance. We're grateful for the gift of family and of one another, the gift of love and affection. We're grateful for all of this as your blessings and gifts to us. So fill our hearts with peace and gratitude, and bless our gathering tonight. May we share generously what we have received with one another. We pray in Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. So thank you, especially to Father Tom Weston, our speaker and retreat giver, especially recovery retreats extraordinaire, and our MC, Paul Venables. And thank you to all of you for being here and supporting the Retreat Center, especially as we focus on the recovery retreats tonight. I invite all to register for retreats. We have so many different kinds of retreats offered here, among them 5 recovery retreats a year. But we have weekend retreats, 5-day retreats, and longer 8-day retreats and 30-day retreats even, that can fill all of the spiritual needs. And we believe that the encounter with the Lord and with grace here on the special ground on our campus really does change people's lives. So you can visit our website to find out what we have offered. Our centennial anniversary is coming up in 2025. It's a very special event and a year of celebration. So mark your calendar. There is a free community day on April 25th and a special mass on March 2025, which is exactly the 100 years since the first mass offered here at El Retiro. And so we're very excited as we move inch forward to our centennial year and celebration. And I hope that you will be part of our family here at El Retiro to celebrate and to move forward with gratitude for this very special place and special ministry at El Retiro. Thank you.
Okay, I unmute myself. Thank you, Father Chi. That was wonderful. We appreciate that. How about that, Father Chi, dropping Ralph Waldo Emerson, that famous Jesuit, dropping some beautiful words from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Okay, so we're going to go to the donation page again. It looks like, or actually the page of how you can make a donation. The first thing I want to point out to you is open the chat. Open the chat and put it over in the side, because in the chat will be information like under that red D that I see, Diane Hendricks, she has put in the chat the link to the donation page. So it's right there in the chat. That's that tiny URL. You click on that, it goes straight. If you go from the chat, it'll go straight to the donation page. Obviously, you can go the old school way and write a check to the Jesuit Retreat Center and send it to Manresa Way, and we'll so appreciate that. And then there's the newfangled technology of the QR code. So what you do is I encourage you to take your phone out and open that camera, and then you kind of focus on that crazy looking black and white square, and it will serve up to you right on your screen a button, a link that you can click on, and it'll take you to the donations page. I encourage you to scan that now so you have it, and then you can fill it out and click through and fill out your donation later, but at least you'll have the actual link to the donation page. But you have multiple ways of sending your support and your love to the Jesuit Retreat Center. We so thank you for all that you do to support us. It is really important. We're going to share a video next, and this video is from a retreat in Maryland. And I really appreciate Marilyn, the way she enters into this video. She mentions how, she kind of, in a very honest and vulnerable way, how she brings her haggard self to the Jesuit Retreat Center. We can all relate to that feeling of life making us feel haggard. And she kind of comes with all her worries and cares to the retreat center, but she imagines they flow from her, those worries and cares, into the hands of God. And it's just a beautiful thought. It's exactly what happens at a retreat here at El Retiro. So let's listen to Marilyn.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Slater. I'm a grateful visitor to the Jesuit Retreat Center, and I've gone to several retreats there, weekend retreats, longer retreats, and also I have done 2 8-day silent retreats. When I get to the Jesuit Retreat Center, I'm pretty tired. I am full of petty resentment, frustrations, sadness about the world situation. And I need just exactly what the retreat center offers. 38 acres of beautiful trails to wander with benches to sit on and meditate, spiritual direction when I need it, beautiful Rossi Chapel. I think probably my very favorite aspect is Christ in distressing disguise on a park bench, a sculpture of Christ lying on the park bench, homeless. And I can sit on the park bench and put my hand on his feet and feel the nail marks. And all of those cares that I bring to the center seem to flow out of me and into God's good hands. And I can leave them there. There's another aspect of the retreat center that I love, and that is the dining room. There must be a very marvelous chef because the meals are delicious. So in addition to spiritual nourishment, there is the other type of nourishment, and that is very welcome. Now, when I go home from a retreat, circumstances are the same. The world is still in terrible shape. The people have the same irritants that upset me before. Life is hard, but I see it in an entirely different way. I see the homeless situation, but now I see the people that are doing so much positive work to change things. I see that going on in the world, that there are people dedicated to making things a little bit better. And I see ways that I can begin to participate in that kind of goodness. You see, when I go to the retreat, nothing changes in the world. But I change, my attitude changes, and it gets a lot better. So I'm very grateful to the retreat center. I will be there at Thanksgiving with a retreat with Father Tom Weston. And that's going to give me an opportunity to say, thank you, Jesuit Retreat Center.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love how she speaks of seeing with new eyes. She said, the problems didn't change, but I changed. And that is the power of retreats. That's what we mean when we say retreats change lives. That shift in perception, that finding that peace and that calm, leaving those worries with God, and then entering them afresh, but not carrying them, and having yourself be transformed. How beautiful. Thank you, Marilyn. That was fantastic. That's Retreats Change Lives for sure. Let's go now to the Donor Perfect page and see what's happening. If we have a new donor or so, would be nice to see. Rita, Carol, thank you. Tom, thank you. Lorraine, thank you. Thank you. Marilyn, Alice, wow, they're rolling in now, people. Join them. It's this fear of missing out. You don't want to miss out on this. Tom and Laura, I saw. This is just, excuse me, wonderful, wonderful. Join them, and we're on our way to that $10,000 unlock. If we hit that goal of $25,000, we unlock 10,000. We've already hit 2,100. That's fantastic. We're off to a great start. Let's keep it going. Really, just it's a wonderful opportunity to support the Jesuit Retreat Center. It's curious today. I noticed that the gospel was the 10 lepers that Jesus heals the 10 lepers, right? We know the story, and they all run off, and only one comes back. One comes back to say thank you to God. And how can we say thank you to God? Well, one way to say thank you to God is generosity. And so you are participating in that, and we so appreciate it, and we're the recipients. And it is just beautiful that connection that we have in this support of the Jesuit Retreat Center. All right. I'm going to go now to our featured speaker. Let me tell you a little bit about, speaking of generosity, we were talking about a generous spirit, an incredibly generous spirit, a beautiful soul. Our featured speaker is Father Tom Weston. Father Tom has devoted most of his priestly life to counseling and retreat work with alcoholics and other addicts. He entered the California province of the Jesuit order in 1965 and was ordained a priest in 1978. He was part of a team that taught English to ministry students in Thailand and Vietnam each summer. He has served on the board of directors here at the Jesuit Retreat Center and continues to lead recovery retreats. Father Weston says that wherever he is, he sees the power of God working in people's lives. And I think retreat and recovery work particularly, there's no greater evidence of God working in people's lives. And Father Tom is in the middle of that, collaborating with God to bring that about. So if you have questions for Father Tom, put them into the chat. I can't guarantee that I'm going to read every single one. I'm going to try to keep up depending on how many we get. And we might have a little time for a Q&A after that I will guide based on the questions you supply. But more importantly, and without further ado, here is that generous spirit, Father Tom Weston.
I'm an unmuted person. Hi, friends of the Retreat Center. My name is Tom Weston. I'm a Jesuit. I'm a member of the Jesuits West Province, and I have the good grace and fortune to spend a lot of years with women and men in recovery. I grew up in San Jose, California. I went to Bellarmine College Prep, and we did a couple of retreats at Los Altos when we were kids. And I was not a particularly deep or insightful young person. The reason I loved the retreats at Los Altos is we could smoke. And I smoked around the clock. I just thought it was so cool that I could sit there and smoke all day and not be yelled at. So there's been a slight improvement in my attitude and behavior in the last 50 plus years. I joined the Jesuits figuring I'm going to jump through all the hoops and go back to Bellarmine College Prep and teach there for my whole life. I was a happy high school kid. If any high school kid is really happy, and I love my teachers. That's why I wanted to join the community. And in the 50 plus years I've been in the order, I have never been assigned there once. So my plans are not God's plans. I had my own problems with substances, and I got sober in 1976. And I went back to teach. I thought that was the world. That's all the world I knew. But there was a requirement, there was a need for people who were willing to lead retreats for people in 12-step programs, specifically Alcoholics Anonymous, but other programs too. Several Jesuits were doing that. Several other priests were doing that. But they were elderly and they were frail, and someone new had to come along, and there I was. Ignatius, through his own experience as a willful young man and a soldier and a wounded soldier and a student in Paris, Ignatius puts together a whole series of reflections and insights and practices that get referred to as the spiritual exercises of Ignatius. They're very flexible, they're very useful, they're very practical. And he will, in his writings, not talk about alcoholism or addiction, because that's not their vocabulary, but he would talk about disordered affections, things that were just out of balance and that dominated your life.
Ignatius?
Hold on, what are we doing? Oh, I'll just keep talking. I taught kids, I'm used to interruptions. So Alcoholics Anonymous gets started in 1935, and they write a big book in 1939. And a Jesuit from St. Louis, Father Ed Dowling, reads the book, goes to New York, and says to Bill Wilson, "This sounds like Ignatius." And Bill Wilson said, "Who are you talking about?" Bill didn't know anything about Ignatius, but for Father Dowling, it was clear that the spirit was parallel. Gratitude and service. If you become aware of the many things you've received from a power greater than yourself, you're willing to be of service. And Father Dowling he's older than Bill by a generation or two. He becomes Bill's special conversation for over 20 years. And a couple of Jesuits got sober. And we've always led retreats. Bill himself, Bill Wilson, will go to the Jesuit retreat house on Staten Island. And they didn't really have any sober Jesuits yet. That hadn't happened, but they had people who were willing to talk about God and spirit and the Christ and life and spiritual topics, religious topics. What I find, my own sponsor in the program of recovery was a sober priest from Los Angeles named Terry, a priest of the Archdiocese, and he led retreats, and he would travel all over, and he would talk to people about practicality and hope and service. And when I was first asked to come and talk about these, what do I talk about? I asked him, and he said, "You wander through the 12 steps, which are very practical, very pragmatic, and you talk about prayer and meditation, and you encourage people to do that." Lots of people in recovery have had some bad experience with organized religion, and they're a little shy about getting onto a retreat center. They're afraid that things will be shoved down their throat. They're afraid that there'll be 1,000 rules and regulations, and a lot of addicts and alcoholics don't handle rules and regulations all that well. But once they come to El Retiro, the beauty of the place, the safety of the place, the quiet of the place, the community of the place really heals people's insides. This is Bill writing about writing the 12 steps, and he has this to say in a piece of literature. The 12 steps originated, there were variations, not a principle, but in the number and manner of stating the original word-of-mouth program. Time went by, and to our immense surprise, Jesuits came in, and they said, "Why, these 12 steps are in principle exactly like our Ignatian exercises for retreat." Tremendous parallels. So when people come in the Midwest, they have lots of retreats too, and a lot of retreat houses there are silent all the time. A group of alcoholics or addicts or family members who are silent for the whole weekend. We don't so much do that on the West Coast. We find that in conversation and listening and talking to each other, a lot of healing happens. So people come. People come from different 12-step programs, different faith traditions, no faith tradition. We want people in Los Altos to feel welcomed and safe and cared for. The staff has been incredible over the many years. And it's nice that the kitchen is good. People are delighted and they take delight in, and then they spend a couple of days there, sometimes longer than that, and they discover they are reconnecting, connecting for the first time, making a better connection with a power greater than themselves. One of the steps, the 11th step, talks a lot about prayer and meditation. Not as something just for the very special people who are holy, but for everybody if you're going to enter real adult life. This is from a piece of program literature, and it's a reflection on the 11th step, and it says this. In step 11, we saw that if a higher power had restored us to sanity and had enabled us to live with some peace of mind in a sorely troubled world, then such a higher power was worth knowing better. By as direct means as possible, the persistent use of meditation and prayer we found did open the channel so that where there had been a trickle, there was now a river, which led to sure power and safe guidance from God as we were increasingly better able to understand him. Lots of people in recovery come to their first retreat and they're pretty nervous. I always tell them, first night in any new place, you might not sleep well because you don't know how safe you are. You know, there's snakes, there's spiders. But the second night, if you just need to come to the retreat and sleep, you're welcome. I was told this on a retreat led by a Jesuit in Southern California. It was going to be a longer retreat. And he said to the group, anything you need to do on this retreat, you've got permission. Well, I was shocked. What about rules and regulations and obligations and meeting expectations? And the fact is, the freedom of the retreat house is with your director, with the others. Let the Spirit work. I invite people to come. I say, come for refreshment, come for renewal, come for rest. Do some reading, do some writing. Be here. Ignatius believed that God was present everywhere and active everywhere, but more so on retreats. And people can come into the retreat experience looking over that Santa Clara Valley, the beauty, the power, the change, the variety that's there, and let God work with them. Help them to wake up, help them to embrace something new, help them to let go of something old that just doesn't work anymore. I get to travel a lot for retreats, and people are different in different places, and some groups are a little friendlier and some groups are a little jumpier. There's different kinds of recovery. In Los Altos, everybody's welcome. We're so glad to see you. We hope you come back. It's a safe, beautiful, sacred place that has sure helped a lot of us needing recovery, in recovery, friends of recovery, get our lives back. And it makes such a difference. So I'm so grateful you're here. I speak on behalf of everyone who's needed some help. A lot of people, especially new in recovery, don't have tremendous resources to use. So anything you give helps people get their lives back and connect with their families again and become joyous, happy, and free. And that's all very good news. That's everything I know. I'm so glad you're here. I get to see people change all the time, and it is such good news. And on behalf of all those that you help, thank you. And you're sure in our, beyond thoughts and prayers, you make all the difference in the world. And it's raining a little bit in Oakland. This is good news.
Wow, Father, that's just beautiful, inspiring. I want to double back and maybe hit you with a couple of thoughts and questions. The first is a clarifying remark. There are no snakes. You can sleep soundly in the rooms.
There are in Florida.
Okay.
I give retreats in Florida.
And Los Altos.
Alligators. I asked if we could swim in the bayou and they said there's a little alligator problem. Not everything's as safe as Los Altos.
That's how you get dinner, right? You're wrestling alligator. Great. No. But no, you said several things I wanted to follow back with. One, there's an adage in our modern society that is quite annoying. That is, people don't change. Oh, don't be careful with that boyfriend or girlfriend. Be careful with that relationship. People don't change. But you are given testimony. You are eyewitness to how people do change and how they expand and grow. Can you speak to that fundamental misnomer that's out there?
It's the first, second, and third step of the program. The first step is admitting that I'm in tremendous trouble. I'm powerless over my craziness, and my life is unmanageable. I cannot fix me. That's step one. And it's not a happy step. And a lot of people never get beyond it. They're just so overwhelmed with how truly awful everything is. The second step says there's a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity, that can bring us back to life again, that can help us learn how to work again, be in families again, enjoy being alive again. And the third step is you turn your will and your life over to the care of that power, the care of God, however you understand God. If you're Methodist or Catholic or Greek Orthodox or any tradition, Muslims in recovery, Hindus in recovery, or people who are agnostic or atheist, we're glad to see you. Come on. And then you trust the process. God works in the process. In Narcotics Anonymous, as they turn things over into God's care, they say, take my will in my life, guide me in my recovery, show me how to live. That's not a bad prayer.
That's a beautiful prayer. That's an absolute. And then you mentioned, I think you're referencing at the time, the 11th step. I love this notion of, if this higher power has kind of helped me get to sanity and has helped me start to patch my life together and give me some clarity, then it's probably worth knowing better. I love that. Now
better from a trickle to a river.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
and that's for all of us, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't require recovery.
The people in recovery are frequently more desperate. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
And so we talk about having the gift of desperation. And if you're desperate enough, you're willing and you follow. Ignatius had the experience, and he gives ways for people to make the connection. And he'll say, if anything helps you make the connection, use it. And if it doesn't help, don't use it. He's very practical.
Yeah. Gift of desperation. What a reframing. We all hear about rock bottom and that somebody has to know it's a gift to get to that point of knowing your need, right? Knowing that you're recognizing you have that need.
Over in Oakland, there's a fellow, when he runs a meeting, he'll ask, is there anyone here tonight who's lucky enough to be at their first AA meeting?
Lucky enough.
And the joke there is, if you're at your first meeting, you don't feel all that lucky.
No, right.
You might 10 years later, but it takes.
Yeah, right. You might have dragged yourself. Let's talk about you touched upon it, disordered affection. Ignatius uses that language, attachment and addiction, maybe think of it for some of us as an extreme version of a disordered attachment. And we all might not have a flat out addiction, but we all certainly do have attachments. Yeah. And so what can we glean from that kind of in our own lives that maybe we aren't at a recovery retreat as someone recovering, but that notion of attachment and shedding that?
In recovery, they talk about learning how to detach and let go. Old ideas, old patterns, old situations that no longer help. Am I willing to? We'll talk about turning it over. Right. My sponsor was a great believer in the white flag of surrender. Stop shooting, stop fighting. The war is over. You've lost.
You lost.
So just be here. And that's when you do that, there's a freedom. Sometimes people experience it real quickly, but for a lot of us, it's a gradual thing that takes place over a long time. But it's steady and it's safe.
Yeah. I would imagine a big part of that kind of recovery is, looking at your graced history, when those moments that maybe now you can recognize where God was at work that you did not recognize at the time, and yes. That awareness, right? That noticing. Mm-hmm. That's got to be.
That's an ordinary experience for ever so many people. So the line that's used sometimes is, God draws straight with crooked lines.
Yeah.
When you're up close, it sure looks crooked, but stepping back and
Yeah.
see you've been being cared for all along.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. What a great thought. What about when we talk about, you talk so eloquently about the retreat center, what it can do, that refreshment, that renewal, that rest. Why, of all the places that we could all support, there's a million good and worthy causes, and certainly the world is clamoring and showing us more by the day of places where we could support and be generous. But why would you say to people that this is a special place to direct that year end, that Giving Tuesday giving towards
From my own experience and the experience of ever so many people who have found welcome, safety, protection there. In the year 1999, 2000, for example, the anxious people were saying the world was coming to an end and planes will fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
So everyone was nuts except me. I just don't think things are going to come to an end for another billion years. But we had a retreat that weekend, New Year's Eve, and it was full of people.
Wow.
And we have a retreat every New Year's Eve since. And the place
Wow.
gets 30 or 40 or 50 people in recovery. The
Wow.
31st or 1st. You don't have to be a person in recovery to come, but it's a lovely way to connect without having to drive or cross bridges or go to parties. If you just want to sleep the entire time, you can. It's welcoming, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
What a beautiful way. It's such an overhyped, New Year's Eve party time, right? It's so overhyped in our culture, but to go to a place to get that rest and that refueling that you mentioned, that has to be very special. It's also my anniversary. So my wedding anniversary. So I won't forget it. So, this could be an option for us to come down and enjoy.
Sure is. You'll find very interesting people. Some of the most interesting people imaginable gather for something like that. And on the 31st, New Year's Eve, we usually ask 3 different people to share experience, strength, and hope, each one for about 20 minutes.
Nice.
And it is extraordinary what you can learn about a person in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's beautiful to give the floor, and then that sharing has got to help again encourage and bring others along that maybe aren't at the same point but need the guidance and the understanding of that road. What before we go to the our final push through the donation pages, etc., is there any final thought that you'd like to share with us about the beautiful ministry that you've had now for these years and how it lives on at the retreat center and the lives that it does touch?
Well, I just consider myself to be extremely fortunate. I'm married to United Airlines, so it's not a happy marriage, but I'm with them a lot. And I get to go in all kinds of places and see people going from chaos to serenity.
Yeah.
People going from isolation. The end result of any good addiction is isolation. And it doesn't matter if it's vodka or beer or 12 loaves of French bread or 36 hours of internet porn. At the end of the run, you're a very isolated person. So you have to, Ignatius would say, you have to agere contra. You have to do the opposite to recover. And to do the opposite means coming to a place like Los Altos, the retreat center at Los Altos, to meet others who've had similar journeys and learn how to be friends, learn how to be companions, learn how to be allies. And Easy does it, and it's attraction, not promotion, but it literally saves lives.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful. I'd never thought of the retreat center as the opposite to those harmful behaviors, but that's exactly what it is. It's that island, that oasis of respite.
A safe place.
Yeah. Well, I'm checking the chat, which I promised I would do. I'm not seeing a bunch of popping questions. So, Father Tom, you have been so inspiring, and we are all encouraged and buoyed by your words of wisdom and your encouragement for us to experience what you're sharing about a retreat center, whether we come with our own attachments and addictions or we just want to get some rest and have a good meal without any snakes bothering us in the night.
Very few snakes in Los Altos, I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah, that they aren't part of the marketing program. We're not going to feature them on the brochure. But beautiful. Again, thank you for your words. Thank you for your generosity, your generous spirit, the work you do, and for joining us to share your thoughts and your ideas on why this is so important to support the Retreat Center. I say we go to the Donor Perfect page.
Before you go to the donor page, this is Susan.
Yes.
I'm a complete dinosaur. I have no idea how to donate while I'm on this.
Okay.
And I don't have a smartphone or anything. Will my donation count towards the count up that we're going for tonight? If I do it right after? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're right, what are you going to write a check? And if you do that, put it in the memo. If you just go to the regular website and donate it, we'll know the timing of such. It's part of this retreat. Thank you so much for your generosity. That was a beautiful interruption. More of those, please. We'll take all those. Everybody can interrupt now for the rest of the night with such encouraging, generous notes. Here's our page. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Sean. Rita, Tom. I see Marilyn. I think that's Alice. We've had some beautiful donations. We thank you so much for your generosity. Folks have really making a big difference. Retreats do change lives. We're up to almost $3,000 towards our match, our 10K match. I believe that 10K match is going to go all the way through Giving Tuesday, so it doesn't absolutely have to happen tonight, but it will. We will build slowly towards it and go from that. The goal we have set to hit the 25,000 to unlock the 10,000 match. You are the bridge. You are the vehicle. You are God's vehicle to get us to both goals. The 10,000 unlocked by reaching the 25,000. We thank you so much. Again, there's the URL. It is also in the chat, so that is something you can click through, and it'll take you to the donations page. You can send a check the old-fashioned way, and we talked about the QR code scan. But if, as Suzanne said earlier, as we hang up, if you go on the website and make a donation, and that's the easiest way for you to do it, that is totally fine. We know it's part of this Giving Tuesday push. And again, we are so grateful. We have another video for you to share. This one is from Sister Mary Pierce of the Lovers of the Holy Cross in Los Angeles. And this is Sister Mary, and she's absolutely adorable. She says, "My Jesus, I found him," which is something, is an invitation for all of you to come to the Retreat Center and have that kind of encounter. Let's see the video from Sister Mary.
Good morning, I'm Sister Mary Pierce, Lovers of the Holy Cross of Los Angeles.
Chào buổi sáng, con tên là Sơ Tu Thương, thuộc dòng Nguyễn Thánh Giá, Los Angeles.
Caught by surprise, I was asked, what's my first impression here? My first impression here is this person here. I came here, I thought why did this homeless person here? And I said, look, and I saw, it's a significant homeless person. It's my Jesus. And I looked to see where there's a face, and I said, oh, it's him, it's Jesus. And I thought to myself, this is my bridegroom. I found him because he remembered of me. This is how I usually find my sacred space. And I would just lie down under the sun and just cuddle up. And so I found him. And this is what's very significant to me. And I choose this as my sacred space to pray here. And this is my first time here too. My sister has been here before, but this is my first time here, and I've been here this is my third day. I really like the environment, the scenery, and especially this sculpture. And hope to see you, and hope that you have a chance to visit this sacred place. Thank you very much, and thank you for all your generosity and support and prayer for our vocation and for this retreat place.
Thank you, Sister Mary, for sharing your reflection there, your story. My Jesus, I found him. I just thought that was so adorable. You too can encounter your God in the silence and the beauty of the Retreat Center. We encourage you to do that. We hope you have enjoyed this evening. I want to thank everyone who made the special online event possible. Father Tom Weston, of course, his beautiful words of encouragement and sharing his ministry and the lives that he's seen change through recovery. Father Chi, our wonderful executive director and fearless leader. Our Giving Tuesday committee, especially Diane Hendricks, Sophia Generali, and Pooja Jain. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You've done such great work. I know this is not easy to pull off. I want to thank our board of directors and everyone who made a gift tonight. Really, it's a special. It is such a generosity. It is wonderful to see. We especially thank Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous for the $10,000 matching. We are confident we are going to get there between now and the end of Giving Tuesday, when Giving Tuesday hits. We encourage you to share with your friends and family and folks that might also support us in that push to reach that $25,000 goal and unlock that $10,000, that extra 10K that's out there for us, just floating in the breeze. We really are appreciative. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the donations made. We have many, many names on our list at that donor page. We are so appreciative. We are touched. We are encouraged. Remember, you're going to see stories and reflections posted every day on our social media channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, I guess it's now known as X, and Instagram, from retreatants, from people who've had beautiful and profound experiences here at the Retreat Center. This is going to happen on our social channels through Giving Tuesday, which I mentioned is November 28th. And, you know, the thing with social is that when you get it, then you can share it. That's the social part of social media. So you get the different posts that we will put out, different retreatant stories and reflections. And then we encourage you to share them out on your networks and your friends. And so that social media phenomenon can happen where it's actually social. So we thank you in advance for anything that you might pass along that you feel is worthy. We are getting close to close. We're going to take one last look at the donations page and see if we have any action on the leaderboard. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Amber. Yes, they continue to roll in. We are so appreciative of all your generosity, of all your support of the Retreat Center. As I mentioned, the funds will go. Look at that. We're over the $3,000 threshold. We're at $32,250 on our way. So we are well on our way. We are so appreciative. The funds will go to support folks who are going to be on recovery retreats. That is a beautiful thing right there. That is a gift that we can share. The generosity of spirit that we had experienced here tonight, we are so appreciative of. It's a beautiful community. We always ask for your prayers. We always ask for us to pray for all retreatants and the folks the staff that works tirelessly, prepares the meals and fixes the rooms up. And it's just a beautiful place with a lot of community coming together to create a special space, a holy ground, a sacred ground. And we're very grateful for everybody's efforts. We ask you continue to support us, share on social media as you see our sharing to you. Again, thank you for joining us. We're going to leave the final, this Zoom open for extended period, another 15 or more, maybe 20 minutes. So you will have the information up to get the URL. You will have the QR code that you could then scan if you haven't already. It'll give you a chance to click through on the chat if you so desire to click the link to make your donation. So as we end our actual live program, we will leave this Zoom open for a little bit of time so you can catch up and make a donation if you haven't had a chance yet to do that already. And with that, I am signing off. I am saying good evening. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you again, Father Tom. Thank you, Father Chi. God bless you all. And may you have beautiful Thanksgivings. There's much to be grateful for. Make those gratitude lists. And then show God your gratitude with generosity in your life wherever you can make that happen. So God bless you all, and thank you.